and welcome. Tonight, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, announces resumption of operations at the 125,000 barrel per day Warri Refinery, just 1 month after the 60,000 barrel per day Port Harcourt Refinery commenced operations. President Bola Tinubu commends NNPCL over the reopening of the Warri Refinery after several years of inactivity, expresses his determination to ramp up local refining capacity. We continue with our review of the year 2024, and tonight we took a look at how education sector performed in the outgoing year. And the global outpouring of tributes to former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, who died at the age of 100, continues.
On business news tonight, Nigeria gets $1.5 billion loan from the World Bank, following federal government's implementation of some major economic reforms and policies.
On sports, Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun names former heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua sports ambassador for the 2025 National Sports Festival.
From the nation's capital, President Bola Tinubu approved the establishment of a federal university in the southern Kaduna axis. 20 years after its last maintenance, the Warri Refinery has been rehabilitated, is now processing crude again. And this is according to the management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited. While leading a delegation comprising senior management staff of the NNPCL, union members, and other stakeholders of the plant, the GCEO NNPC Limited, Mr. Miyetti said the plant is already trucking out petroleum products, which include AGO and kerosene. Well, this development is coming just 1 month after the Port Harcourt Refinery came on board. Mr. Kyari also hinted that the Kaduna Refinery will come on stream. Our correspondent Olu Phillips reports.
Warri Refining and Petrochemical Company, as it is today known, is one of the 4 Nigerian-owned refineries designed to process a combined capacity of 445,000 barrels a day. Just like the other 3, 2 in Port Harcourt complex and the Kaduna, years of skipped maintenance practice, neglect, and poor funding had eventually brought it down to mere bare bones. For the records, the last time this refinery experienced a turnaround maintenance was in 2004, leading to the decision by the GMD and NPC then to shut down the plant in 2019. But while the doors were shut, the federal government initiated a rehab process of all the Nigerian refineries, this inclusive, but with a different model. On this occasion, and in a rather surprise outing, the doors have been opened as it is official. Warri Refining and Petrochemical Company has started processing crude oil yet again. From the control room to the process plant, the pumps, the columns, the CDU, the crude distillation unit, and more, all are wearing a new look as the machine sounds hit the atmosphere.
This plant has 3 stages. We have started the plant 1, which is, we call it area 1, the first plant. It is able to produce AGO, kerosene, naphtha, and also a blend of fuel oil. And these are high-grade quality products that are required in the country, and we may also have a need to export them. So it's going to give us cash. This company will make money, and the promise of Mr. President that this country must be a net exporter of petroleum products is already happening.
The chief leads with the strong leadership of the GCO were able to deliver with his can-do attitude. So the charge made by the board and the GCO is that we should keep up momentum and ensure the other units are up and running.
It's been a long drawn battle to rehabilitate this plant, but one officials here say is better late and working than never. currently, as we speak here live at the depot area of the Warri Refinery, this refinery is processing some 5,000 barrels of crude oil a day. It has started today and it goes down in history as the second national refinery that has been turned on in the campaign to bring back and resuscitate and bring back coal and restream all the nation's refinery. So this is it. You can see the flare stock there, and that's clearly an evidence that there's processing going on, there's crude in there, and the trucking out going on out here, and that's what the situation is here at the Warri Refinery. From Warri Refinery, Refining and Petrochemical Company, Olu Phillips reporting for Channels Television.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has described the reopening of the 125,000 barrels per day Warri Refining Petrochemical Company by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited as another remarkable achievement in 2024 that has strengthened Nigeria's hope in his administration. According to the statement by the presidential spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga, with the Warri Refining and Petrochemical Company going into operation after several years of inactivity, President Tinubu has once again expressed his administration's determination to ramp up local refining capacity and make Nigeria a hub for downstream industrial activities in Africa, while praising the Melek Yari-led management of the NNPCL for working very hard to restore Nigeria's glory and pride as a major oil-producing country. President Tinubu enjoined the NNPCL to accelerate repair work on Kaduna refining and the 150,000 barrel per day second refinery in Port Harcourt to consolidate Nigeria's position as global energy provider. A coalition of civil society organizations are now calling on President Bola Tinubu to intervene in the ongoing controversy surrounding the selection of a vice-chancellor for the University of Abuja. Speaking at the presentation of their report at the main gate of the university in Abuja, the coalition, operating under the umbrella of Civil Society Coalition for Educational Development, criticized recent protests by some professors at that university, describing it as unnecessary and counterproductive.
It is a misplacement of priority, an abuse of intellectual intelligence, and an insult of highest pedigree for professors of a national citadel of learning using unqualified language to qualify a competent candidate. The message is set the charisms free. Recognize competence. Professor Aisha Saleh Mekudi has all it takes.
Let's head to the courts now. An Abuja High Court has ordered the Department of State Services, the DSS, to release the detained president of Miyetti Allah Cattle Warri, that's Mr. Bello Bodejo, pending his trial, delivering a ruling on the bail application filed on behalf of Mr. Bodejo. Justice Mohammed Zubairu declared the continuous detention of the Miyetti Allah leader since the 9th of December this year without formal charges as unlawful and unconstitutional. Justice Zubairu, a vacation judge, made the order after counsel to the applicants, Mr. Ruben Atabo, moved his motion for bail, which was not opposed by the counsel to the Department of State Services.
It's a demonstration of rule of law over that of mine is always right now. And in a democratic regime like Nigeria, there are 3 departments of government and each must work independently, but in a coordinated manner. The state cannot hold on to somebody for more than 48 hours without taking him or her to court. That is the duty of the court. The duty of the court is to receive people from detention, and if there is need for the person to be detained beyond 48 hours, it is the court that will say so, not the Department of State Security Service or otherwise.
And staying in the FCT, this time on security. Ahead of the New Year's celebrations, the Commissioner of Police in charge of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Olatunji Disu, is asking residents to desist from illegal acquisition of firearms. Mr. Disu, who made this call in Abuja while parading a hotelier for alleged possession of firearms and attempted murder, warns that the acquisition of firearms without appropriate license remains a criminal offense.
On the 26th of December 2024, at Najob Guest Inn, Warri, the security officer named Obina Tobima Inwigwe fired a customer named Andrew Philemon. He fired him with a pump-action gun, and police officers responded, and immediately his residence was searched. And that gave us a big surprise. On getting to his house, we recovered one pump action, the one he used to fire the victim, one SMG rifle, and 5 locally made rifles. In his house, we recovered 2 handcuffs, 3 jackknives, military jackknives, 17 cartridges, and 29 7.62 mm live ammunition. In his room, we also recovered some life jacket, bulletproof jackets, and some other accessories. I want to use this opportunity to talk with residents of the Federal Capital Territory to try as much as possible to protect their vehicles by installing security gadgets on their vehicles. Security gadgets will prevent their vehicles from being stolen, and if they are stolen, will assist the police in tracking and recovering their vehicles.
From security, we turn our attention to infrastructure and remaining in the Federal Capital Territory, where the Minister, Nyesom Wike, has hinted on plans to compensate houses encroaching in on ongoing road project at Katape district of the nation's capital. Mr. Wike made this disclosure during an inspection tour of the project and other projects within the area. Our correspondent, Kobi Aboluwadi, reports.
Just like his usual practice, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has yet again embarked on this inspection tour of projects in the FCT. His focus this time is on the ongoing projects within the This is the Gishiri interchange, which links the access road leading up to the judges' quarters. Then the minister moves ahead to inspect other roads within the quarters. While addressing the press, Mr. Wike affirmed his administration's commitment to fulfilling the promises made to FCT residents.
When the last time we came, we couldn't get to this point. And the company was able to finish this culvert, major culvert. I think we're happy. We believe that they promised, by the grace of God, by May, they would have handed over these projects. You can see the level of development within this axis. Of course, the value of land and the property, what it will be. And that is the essence of the Hope agenda. I mean, those who are living here never believe that they can see this level of development.
He also announces plans to compensate affected houses on the right-of-way of the ongoing road construction in the district.
Compensation in terms of building road. Houses are affected, you pay part of it. Or if the entire house is going down, you pay the full compensation. But not why you are saying that you want to settle the entire community, because the road is not passing through the entire community. It's a section of the community. So we'll do everything, and I want to plead with the community that they are going to be the ones that will benefit from this road directly. You can imagine how it was and see how it is now. And then by the time it is finished, with street lights everywhere. I mean, it is to their own benefit.
These projects were flagged up for construction in October 2024 and are expected to be completed within 15 months. Kumbi Aboluwade, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, we continue with our review for the year 2024. Tonight, we took a look at how the education sector performed in the outgoing year. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, announces resumption of operations at the 125,000 barrels per day Warri Refinery, just 1 month after the 60,000 barrels per day Port Harcourt Refinery commenced operations. President Bola Tinubu commends NNPCL over the reopening of Warri Refinery after several years of inactivity, expresses his administration's determination to ramp up local refining capacity. And the global outpouring of tributes to former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, who died at the age of 100, continues. We have more for you on the news at 10 as we head over to Abuja studios, where Gloria Mezuke is standing by to give us more. Hello, Gloria.
Thank you, Anne. In Abuja, we begin with the President, Bola Tinubu, who has consented to a proposal to establish a federal university in southern Kaduna. The Vice President, Kashim Shettima, gave the hint during a condolence visit to the Kuka family on the death of His Highness Yohana Sidi Kuka, the Agwam Akulu of Ikulu Chiefdom, and the younger brother of Bishop Matthew Kuka of the Catholic Diocese of Sokoto. He also disclosed that there are ongoing discussions to establish a federal medical center in Kafanchan, Kaduna State. Bishop Kuka expressed gratitude to the Vice President on behalf of the family over the visit.
Be rest assured that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the people of Kaduna at heart, and the people of Southern Kaduna at heart. This is why, without thinking twice, General Christopher Boabin Musa was appointed as the Chief of Defense Staff, fundamentally to address the core security needs of our people. My Lord, I want to assure you that the government will do whatever it takes. We'll partner with the government of Kaduna State to ensure that development reaches.
We still have hope that Nigeria will be great again. I think that there is no greater mark of honor that could have been done for our brother and our father and our husband that comes anywhere close to your physical presence here. We almost feel like saying his death was worthwhile. We love him and we miss him, but had he not gone at this particular time, he would not be physically here to condole with us. It's not an honor we take lightly. So I want, on behalf of this community, first of all, the biological family, to thank you so very much for the sacrifice you've made to go between Jigawa and then to finally come back here to be with us.
Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to improving education across the state. The governor made this declaration while welcoming 150 students who returned from India after completing their master's degrees through a state-funded foreign scholarship program. Our correspondent, Sadiq Ilyasu, reports.
A proud homecoming for 150 students from Kano State celebrated for their academic success abroad. The students are part of the 1,001 beneficiaries of a foreign scholarship sponsored by the Kano State government. On arrival, they were received at the airport and escorted to the government house for a reception organized in their honor.
Your Excellency, I want to grab your indulgence to welcome the students back home to Kano and also congratulate them. But Your Excellency, my congratulations is heavily geared toward you.
Parents express gratitude, many overcome with emotion as they praise the governor for investing in their children's future.
I don't know how to thank you. Our children have returned home safely with their certificates. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Governor Yusuf reiterates his commitment to education, stating that it remains a top priority for his administration, while promising continued support for students both locally and abroad.
Most of the young commissioners that are here with us were the products of the initial foreign scholarship initiated by Senator Rabi Musa Konkoso. Today we are so proud having doctors with us, having even young professors in our midst, all contributing toward the development of the state.
The governor also plans to clear the outstanding tuition fees for students who graduated from a university in Cyprus 8 years ago but have been unable to obtain their certificates due to unpaid fees by the previous administration. Sadiq Ilyasu, Channels Television News.
As 2024 draws to a close, Nigeria's education sector reflects a dynamic year marked by sweeping policy changes, innovative funding schemes, persistent challenges, and cautious optimism. In continuation of our assessment of the year 2024, tonight we delve into the key events that shaped the education sector this year. As much of the country focuses attention on Nigeria's education sector, the administration of President Bola Tinubu chose to start by commencing the implementation of a roadmap for the sector, a pragmatic blueprint to tackle long-standing issues as a way of revitalizing education in the country. In a bold move, President Bola Tinubu's administration launched the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, an interest-free loan scheme aimed at alleviating the financial burden on students. By the 23rd of December 2024, 23 billion naira had been disbursed to 94,000 students, with a target to support 1.2 million students by 2025.
We're trying to give as many people loans as possible. And I can tell you every single one of those who've registered, from the data we have on them, and the 110,000 who've applied are people who really need these loans.
Among the headline initiatives was the controversial policy imposing an 18-year age limit for admission into tertiary institutions, introduced by the then Education Minister, Professor Tahir Maman. The policy faced intense backlash before being scrapped by his successor, Dr. Tunji Alausa, who was reassigned by the President of the education sector in October.
We will not be going forward with the 18 years. We will go back to what we had before, 16 years.
Certificate racketeering was another highlight of the year, compelling a probe by the National Assembly by some government officials in the ministries, departments and agencies.
We were concerned as a university community because this revelation has the potential to impinge on our hard-earned reputational capital. But we're happy to inform the country that under the same period, Nigeria was able to launch its transnational education guidelines, and under these guidelines, foreign investors can come, using 6 competitive models to set up branch campuses, join degrees to bridge the gap between demand and supply.
Labour agitation was another defining feature of 2024, with threats of strike actions by tertiary institution unions, including ASU and NASU.
SALI, ASU, NASU, NSC, please let's give give this a chance, and I promise you we are negotiating.
The staggering statistics of out-of-school children in Nigeria is another protracted challenge the sector continues to grapple with. According to UNICEF, 25.6% of Nigerian children remain out of school, with girls constituting the majority. This alarming statistic has kept stakeholders calling for increased interventions and better funding mechanisms.
What are the problems? Maybe we don't have sufficient schools or classrooms. We need nothing less than 350,000 teachers per annum to fill the gap at the basic education level. So we have to support the colleges that are producing basic education teachers so that they can produce more and effective teachers to cover the problem of out-of-school children in the country.
This year marked the 10th anniversary of the Safe Schools Initiative, a program aimed at protecting students and teachers from abductions and violence. According to the National Safe School Response Coordination Center, 10,000 schools have now been registered under the initiative. As incidents of school abductions decline, notable cases such as the kidnapping and eventual release of students from Confluence University in Kogi State underscore the ongoing threat. Funding remained a hot topic throughout the year. In the President's 2025 budget proposal, federal allocations to education reached 3.52 trillion naira in the 2025 budget proposal. But experts argue that this remains insufficient to address the sector's infrastructure and personnel needs.
Rather than looking at just the quantum of money alone, let us also look at the systems in terms of the model of education that we are implementing, and in terms of the efficient use of resources, because there's a problem of efficiency in terms of the way we allocate resources, the way we expend resources, and then of course the redundancies that exist in the system, and have the courage to deal with certain nagging problems within the system.
Additionally, state governments continue to default on matching Universal Basic Education Commission grants, leaving over 135 billion naira unutilized since 2020 and limiting access to critical funding for basic education.
It's a shame, actually, because let's just take the case of performance at the basic examinations, and you look at the performances over the years, in terms of just take English and mathematics as an example. It's a disgrace. There is really no commitment at all levels to universal basic education. And this is the fundamental challenge, that we run a system where there is no positive valuation of education. The connection between the nexus between education and development, we are still grappling with it.
As the education sector reflects on 2024, the federal government's 6-point agenda offers a roadmap for improvement. With targeted investments, innovative policies, and stakeholder collaboration, Nigerians remain hopeful that the coming years will usher in sustainable progress for Nigeria's education system.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria gets $1.5 billion loan from the World Bank following federal government's implementation of some major economic reforms and policies. That's on Business News. Please join us again. Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. Youths of Wamba local government area in Nasarawa State under the Sisimbaki Youths Unity Forum are advocating for peace, unity and progress of the state through cultural displays. The youths believe that coming together during the Yuletide can enhance peace and unity, not just in the state, but beyond. They stated this at the 9th edition of the Sisimbaki Cultural Carnival. Our correspondent, Halima Gayam, reports.
Some of
Nigeria's ethnic groups assembled with their drums in Sambaki community of Wamba local government area of Nasarawa State for the 9th edition of the Sambaki Cultural Carnival.
He's a man that has always made things happen.
The Unitide provides the opportunity for the exhibition of the nation's diverse culture and tradition. The idea is to advocate for peace, unity, and progress.
The main central theme or the whole idea of this carnival is how we can unite ourselves and bring about unity and progress and development to our community and to our society at large.
Troops from Nasarawa State take the lead with special performances tagged Sounds of Unity. They whine, showcasing their culture as families and friends watch with excitement. Cultural diversity is also at play. There is representation from the North, Central, and Western zones. The Nube dancers who hail from Niger State, to the Jarawa dancers from Plateau State.
Up next. So many tribes.
Jukun dancers from Taraba State. Ethnic groups from other regions of the country who are aligned with the theme of the year add color to the procession. Igbo dancers. Yoruba troop. Persons living with disability also share in the joy. The youth push for peace and development through this annual festival. They want their culture preserved for the coming generation.
We're doing this because over time we have observed, we have discovered that the walls of culture and traditions are falling. And as young people, we have decided to put this, to support this, to promote this, so that the walls of our culture and tradition will not be forgotten.
They are also optimistic of the power of such gatherings to incite economic benefits.
There's no doubt that what we've seen here, it has added value to the economic value of this town, because people have come here to patronize one or two items here, and that means people have been economically empowered in the community.
We believe coming together like this, we'll be learning from each other, and with time, our economy will boost our economy.
The joy of coming together in the spirit of the season to champion peace, unity, and progress is evident as the youth consider exploring the economic benefit of the carnival for the betterment of the people. Halima Gayam, Channels Television News.
Well, lovely indeed. That's it from the nation's capital. It's over now to Dominic Iwewo in Lagos for business news.
Thank you, Gloria. On business news, the World Bank says it has disbursed the sum of $1.5 billion as loan to the federal government. In a report issued yesterday, December the 29th, the International Finance Institution explained that the loan facility was in support of some of the reforms initiated and implemented by the Bola Tinubu administration, which include the removal of fuel subsidies and carrying out of other policies such as the ongoing tax reform bills. According to the Bretton Woods Institution, the loan had been approved in June this year under its reforms for economic stabilization to enable transformation development policy financing initiative. The World Bank mentions that a combined loan of $2.25 billion, which it has disbursed so far this year, is to help stabilize the Nigerian economy and scale up support to the vulnerable people in the country. Let's bring reports of the spending plan by 4 subnational across the country for the next year. And we start with the River State's Governor, Miyetti Allah, who has presented the 2025 budget proposal of 1.1 trillion naira to the Victor Okojumbo-led River State House of Assembly. Governor Fubara described the appropriation bill tagged Budget of Inclusive Growth and Development as a blueprint for consolidating the achievements of his administration in 2024 while charting a new course for sustainable development.
Today, we are presenting a budget that would empower us to consolidate the past gain, stimulate further investment into our economy, and take our dear state to the next level of economic growth, social progress, and shared prosperity. Mr. Speaker, permit me to express my profound gratitude to the good people of River State for their unwavering support, prayers, and trust over the last year and 7 months. I have had the privilege and honor to be a chief servant.
And in Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodinma has signed the 2025 appropriation bill into law following its speedy passage by the lawmakers of the State House of Assembly. Speaking at the signing ceremony at the government house in Warri, the Imo State capital, Governor Uzodinma says the budget will better transform the subnational, especially in the implementation of capital projects.
The alignment between the executive and the legislature in providing critical and valuable infrastructure to the people of Imo State. So with a total budget of 807 billion for the year 2025, it means that the opportunity for growth, the opportunity for prosperity, and the opportunity to create and bring into reality the new Imo State is by the corner.
In the southwest of the country, Ogun State Governor Dakwa Abiodun has signed the 1.054 trillion naira 2025 budget proposal tagged Budget of Hope and Prosperity into law before members of the State House of Assembly. Speaking at the signing ceremony held in his office in the state's capital, the governor said the budget will target the completion of ongoing projects while critical infrastructure, education, security, agriculture, among others, take the center stage.
We will continue to ensure we provide more, better, improved infrastructure, particularly roads, in every local government in the state. We will continue with our stride of providing the right infrastructure for education so that we ensure that every student in Ogun State lands under a very conducive environment. We continue to pursue our healthcare program from primary healthcare to secondary to tertiary. And of course, our policy on grow what we eat and eat what we grow. We are going to be more aggressive in the area of agriculture as well.
In the northern part of the country, the Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule has signed the 2025 increased appropriation bill into law. During the signing, the governor noted that his administration is poised to implement policies and programs that will better the lives of the people.
The appropriation bill has been signed. Very important important to know that we presented a budget that we strongly believe that we can live by it. You know, we have seen the effort put in forward by all the MDAs when we were preparing the draft. And I have seen the effort put in by the House of Assembly in ensuring that each MDA justifies what they presented. Now, that to me is what the budget is all about.
To the local bourse, investors in the equities markets have gained over 987.18 billion naira in just one day, as the domestic bourse kicks off the last 2 trading days of the 2024 on a strong note. Warri has details of today's activities on the NGX.
Thank you, Dominic, and welcome to the Stock Market Report. It's the first trading day of the week and the penultimate trading day at the NGX before the new year. And it's not just for the NGX, for all markets globally. But you're looking at the NGX. Let's see how they ended today's trading session in the green, 0.99%. And that's a magnificent way to kick off the first trading day with positive sentiment. And that's 0.01% shy of 1% there. And pushing the all-share index higher and above 103,000 points there, and also driving the market cap nearly 63 trillion naira. That's about, to be precise, about 101 billion naira away from 63 trillion naira there. Now, MTN Nigeria appeared to stay true to their slogan, because the telco company had their footprints everywhere you looked on the NGX today, boosting the performance of the market by adding about 13 naira to its share price to close at 207 naira 80 kobo. Other sectors like consumer goods contributed as well. We see that index up 1.76%, and this is due to Boa Foods, making that impact there. Other sectors, not so much. Oil and gas in the red, banking in the red today. But to be honest, the Santa rally at the NGX has been interesting to watch lately, and it will be more interesting to watch out the market closes tomorrow. That's a day before New Year, and that's the Stock Market Report. Will Ibong signing out.
And that's it on business news. Back to Anne for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Dominic. Still to come on the news at 10, the global outpouring of tributes to former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, who died at the age of 100, continues. Please join us again. Welcome back. The United States is to hold a national day of mourning for the late former president, Jimmy Carter. Here's Simon Puser with more international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5.
President Jimmy Carter coming down off the plane, getting applause.
The global outpouring of tributes to Jimmy Carter, the former U.S. president who's died at the age of 100, has continued.
It's a sad day, but it brings back an incredible amount of good memories. Today, America and the world, in my view, lost a remarkable leader. He was a statesman and humanitarian. And Jill and I lost a dear friend. What I find extraordinary about Jimmy Carter, though, is that millions of people all around the world, all over the world, feel they lost a friend as well, even though they never met him.
U.S. President Joe Biden described Mr. Carter as a man of principle, faith, and humility, while President-elect Donald Trump said Americans owe Carter a debt of gratitude.
Good to see you. I'd like to announce that I am a candidate for president.
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear.
The Democrats' one term in office from 1977 to 1981 included brokering a landmark peace accord between Egypt and Israel. He also saw a struggling U.S. economy and disastrous attempt to free American hostages seized in Iran. In later life, he became a tireless worker for peace, the environment, and human rights, for which he was recognized with a Nobel Peace Prize in 2002. Here, the flag on Capitol Hill being lowered to half-staff staff following the announcement, while leaders around the world gave their tributes to America's oldest president.
Very intelligent, synthesized information very quickly, and had very clear ideas on what he wanted to do. He did solicit input, but he usually had a pretty good idea of what was going on and what he wanted to do. He was very demanding. He was very data-driven. If you didn't have the facts, he probably did. And it was a situation where he would then give you the information that he was soliciting. So you always had to be on your game when you were with President Carter.
Bereaved families are calling for more support from the government after 179 people were killed in a Jeju airplane crash at South Korea's Muan International Airport on Sunday. They are frustrated at the lack of timely updates from Jeju Air and continue to wait for the release of their loved ones' bodies. The Jeju Air flight belly landed and skidded off the end of the runway at Muan International Airport, erupting in a fireball as it slammed into a wall. 2 crew members were pulled out alive. The apparent absence of landing gear, coupled with reports of a possible bird strike, have raised questions by aviation experts.
The pilots are clearly in control of the airplane, which again begs the question, why did they not lower the flaps? Why did they not lower the landing gear?
5 people have been charged in connection with the death of One Direction singer Liam Payne in Argentina. The 31-year-old star died on the 16th of October after falling from the 3rd floor balcony of a hotel in Buenos Aires. Hotel manager Gilda Martin and hotel employee Esteban Grassi, as well as Roger Norez, who reportedly was a friend of Payne, have been charged with manslaughter. 2 others, who both reportedly worked at the hotel, have been charged with supplying drugs.
Throughout 2024, hope has been hard to find.
Antonio Guterres has warned of a climate breakdown in his New Year message. The Secretary General of the United Nations said that in 2025, countries must put the world on a safer path by dramatically slashing emissions and supporting the transition to a renewable future. And the lucky player who bought the winning Mega Millions lottery ticket in California will be ringing in the new year vastly richer than in 2024. The winning $1.22 billion ticket was bought at a Cottonwood, California store. The jackpot in the Mega Millions lottery is the 5th largest in the history of the draw. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thanks, Simon, and welcome to Sports News. Ogun State's Governor Dapo Abiodun has named former heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua as the sports ambassador for the 2025 National Sports Festival to be held in the state. The governor announced this in Abeokuta, the state capital, while playing host to the Nigerian-born British boxer at the State Executive Council chamber in the state capital. Speaking with newsmen shortly after the meeting with the governor, Joshua has promised to use his brand to support the multi-sport events slated for May next year. And AC Milan have appointed Sergio Conceição to become the new manager after the Italian club parted ways with Paulo Fonseca. The Portuguese coach has signed a deal until June 30, 2026, the club said in a statement. And that's sports. I'm Kelly Egiga. It's back to Anne.
Thank you, Kelly. And the main news again. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, today announced the resumption of operations at the 125,000 barrels per day Warri Refining and Petrochemicals Company, just 1 month after the 60,000 barrels per day Port Harcourt Refinery commenced operations. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Good night.